Okay, so here in a hard disk, when you use a hard disk, okay guys, when you insert a hard disk, hard disk will ask you initialize the disk. If you see this picture, initialize the disk either MBR or GPT, either MBR or a GPT. Whenever you insert this, it asks you to initialize the disk as a MBR or GPT. Very big one. Whenever you insert a fresh hard disk, it is not already used hard disk, means already it is decided what is it is MBR or GPT part. But if it is a fresh hard disk, new hard disk, so it is you have to initialize as a MBR or GPT. Next one is when your fresh PC is there, fresh PC, no OS, nothing is there. Okay, so your operating system will decide your operating system and your motherboard, your BIOS or UEFI will decide the hard disk will be initialized as MBR or GPT. Okay, here it is. In generally, if you are using BIOS, disk is initialized as a MBR. If you are using a UEFI and operating system is latest operating system, means UEFI supported operating system, then it is initialized as a GPT by default. What is this MBR and GPT? What is this MBR and GPT? MBR master boot record. MBR master boot record. So GPT GUID partition table. GUID partition table. So whenever you insert a new fresh hard disk or you take a fresh system, the hard disk is empty, nothing is there, nothing is type of hard disk it is. It have to initialize or automatically it will initialize as a MBR or GPT. If it is just additional hard disk, then we have to initialize as a MBR or GPT. Okay. So while installing an operating system, so how this disk is initialized based on your firmware, means you are using a ROM type of firmware. So generally olden days we have a BIOS. BIOS is there inside a ROM. BIOS firmware is there, right? So if you are a BIOS, if your system motherboard is having BIOS chipset, it is MBR type of hard disk. Okay, so it is initialized as a MBR. If it is a latest operating system and you are using latest motherboard and your BIOS as a UEFI, then it is initialized as a GPT. Okay. Next one is what is MBR and what is GPT. What is MBR and what is GPT? MBR master boot record. Before going to that one, guys, so then I will try to show you one picture. Again, paintbrush is best. If you don't get it from here, so then I will show you in a whenever I insert a new
Sir, there is disturbance in your mic.
Mic disturbance. Guys, think like this. This is my hard disk. So first of all, I will try to explain here only because it is easy. This is my hard disk. Think like this. This is the 500 GB hard disk. Okay. Next one, I have to do partitioning, right? So I'm doing partition, 1 partition, 2 partition, 3 partition. This is I initialize this one as a MBR, master board record. Okay. Partition style is master board record. So first partition, that is become a primary partition, secondary, second one primary, third primary. The fourth one, if you create a primary, for example, this is a 100 GB, first one, 50 GB here, or maybe 100 GB here. So totally 250 GB completed. Now I created another 100 GB here, 350 GB completed. The remaining one, we can't do anything. Means we cannot create any other partitions. So once 4 primaries are completed, you cannot create any partitions. Okay. This is the old style because this is the old style type. Means you create a 4 partitions. You can create up to 4 primary partitions. You cannot create any further partitions. You have to leave like a thing. Otherwise, you have to adjust this partition sizes. Next one is, guys, so in from Windows 7 onwards. So what is happening, and in olden days also. Whenever you complete 3 primary, the remaining become extended partition. Remaining is extended, entire remaining become extended. Initially it is unallocated, but whenever you are creating new partition like this, you are creating a new, for example, you are creating some 20 GB partition. Okay, you created a 20 GB partition. This is a logical drive. This is called a logical drive in extended partition. In extended partition, automatically it make remaining partition, remaining unallocated as a extended. In the extended, we are creating a logical partition. So it is almost like 250 completed. So this entire extended is another 250 GB. And this logical is 20, means how much free space is there? 230 GB free space is there. So like this, you can create a multiple logical partitions. Multiple logical partitions you can able to create it. Like this. So you want to create a multiple logical partitions. Sorry, logical drives or multiple partitions you want to create. More than 3 or 4 partitions you want to create it. So then what to do? First 3 partitions are primary partitions plus remaining is become extended. In extended, we can put a logical drives. Okay. From Windows Vista and 7 onwards. Okay, Windows Vista and Windows 7 onwards. Okay, whenever you completed 3 primary partitions, automatically 4th one is a logical drive in the extended partition. Automatically, the 4th partition is a logical drive in the extended partition. So extended we immediately created. So guys, this is a MBR and MBR. Okay, so
Sir.
yeah, tell me.
Sir, so what is the difference between logical drive and the primary drive, sir? Like we are creating.
Primary partitions are mainly we use it for installing operating system. In primary partitions, you can put a operating system. In logical drives, generally we cannot put a operating system. So you want to install operating system, you have to choose primary partition. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next one, guys, operating systems stores in primary, and operating system for operating system basic drive disk. Hard disk, dynamic disk, basic disk. Two type of disk are there. Generally, all our hard disk are basic disk only. All individual disk are basic disk, not a dynamic disk. Okay, so you want to install operating system, you can put it in a basic disk, not a dynamic disk. Dynamic disks are used to manage volumes, like you want to combine 2 or 3 hard disks together as a single volume. So that time we have to make it as a dynamic disk. Basic disk are normal single disk only. Just for we create a partitions, we store data. That is a basic disk. Okay, yes, very good question. Logical drives and primary drives. So primary are mainly for main drives. It is used to store our operating system password. And Windows XP old operating system, we have a choice like which one is primary, which is extended, like that we can choose it, which is active partition kind of stuff. But from Windows Vista onwards, means Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Okay, so whenever you have a hard disk, once 3 primary completed, you don't have a choice. Like you create a first partition, that is a primary, second is primary, third is primary by default. And fourth one, when you are creating, automatically it is a logical drive in the extended partition. Means entire unallocated partition become extended drive automatically. Okay guys, this is about a GPT, not completed. One more point is I'm missing, that is, see, this is a one partition is there now. This single partition maximum size is 2 terabyte, up to 2 terabyte. Next one is GPT without editing. So first, okay, if you are initialize your disk as a GPT, so you can create a multiple primary partitions. Multiple primary partitions, you can create it. No extended, no logical drives here. All are your primary partitions. So even there is a no name called a primary also. It's a partition. Okay, how many primary partitions we can able to create it? 128 primary partitions we can create. No extended, no logical. And each partition size is support up to, not up to, more than 2 terabyte. As per certain textbooks, it is 18 EB. Why I said a certain textbooks? Because I have checked in some official textbooks, Red Hat Enterprise Linux related textbooks, Microsoft textbooks. There are found when you check in internet, it shows different.
Sir,
Sir, you are not audible.
sir, you are not audible.
Now you are. Can you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I think my mic covered. Okay, good. Okay, again, guys, GPT, GUID partition table. Okay, we can create 128 primary partitions. No extended, no logical drives. More than 2 terabyte of each partition support is possible. And as per certain textbooks, means certain standard textbooks, official textbooks from Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Microsoft textbooks, So I got this information. It is 18 EB is a maximum single partition size. Some internet resources, it shows differently, guys, like a 9.2 ZB, zettabyte kind of stuff. Okay, but as I refer from here, this is correct. Okay, if someone believe this is correct, it's okay, no problem. Okay. So here I am putting these things like this. 3 primary partitions and the remaining become 1 extended. Okay. So this is the primary partition. People. Okay. Primary partition. 3 primary completed logical partition. Next, this part. Is a logical drive, means extended partition. So this is your MBR picture. Here it is gone. That is enough. Next one is GPT. So, okay. So GPT means it is a 1 primary partition, multiple primaries. Okay, we have a almost 128 primaries. What is GPT? GUID partition table. That is MBR master boot record. So no extended, no logical.
Sir,
Tell me.
mostly we have MBR, right? Because in most of the computers we use BIOS system.
No. Nowadays, no. Earlier days, right. Okay. Nowadays, no. Earlier days, right. How? Because almost all our laptops, we are purchasing nowadays laptops, desktops from last 3 to 4 years, 5 years. There are actually UEFI. We are calling by habitual name is BIOS. BIOS and UEFI both are same. Only it is your UEFI is upgraded version. Okay, so most of our laptops, including my laptop, when we got this laptop 2013, around 2013 it is a laptop, 13-14 laptop it is. Okay, so means almost 8 years, right? So not 9 years completed, 8 to 9 years of this laptop. This is UEFI laptop, 64-bit, of course, UEFI laptop. Okay, my hard disk is GPT hard disk. I'll show you that one. Go to disk management, Diskmgmt.msc. This is a disk management console. Okay, I will show you. This is a disk 0 main disk. This is the original hard disk where my operating system and other files are there. See, lot of primaries are there. These are the partitions, but does not have drive letters. There is a default partition. Only 3 partitions having drive letters. That too, I merged 2 drives here, F drive. Okay, so see, this is the all our primary partitions only. Okay, and what is this? This is right click. Convert into MBR means it is a GPT disk. Also, you can get it with different ways. For example, command prompt, you can get it. So, like a CMD, run as administrator. Command prompt, run as administrator. So, DISKPART is a command. DISKPART. DISKPART is a command. So, in the DISKPART command, we have to put a list disk. It is my disk 0 is a GPT. Star means GPT. Second is not GPT. Second one is MBR. Second one is MBR. 2 hard disks are there. I added another hard disk. Okay. So second disk is MBR. First disk is GPT. Okay. Second hard disk is GPT. Okay. MBR, GPT. Okay. Now it is neat. This is also we can. Okay, guys, and very simple. MBR, master boot record, 3 primary partitions and 1 extended. In extended, we can create a multiple logical drives. Only 1 extended, not more extended. Okay. And partition size support is up to 2 terabytes. And the GUID partition table, 128 primary partitions. Okay. So no extended, no logical partitions. The partition size support more than 2 terabyte up to 18 EB. Okay, this is the MBR and GPT partition. Guys, MBR and GPT are a partition styles. Okay, MBR and GPT are a partition styles. Okay. Somewhere we are missing disk management. Not missing, same thing only. Okay. So our hard disk mostly it is GPT type disk only. But GPT or MBR it is a hard disk. Okay. So another call. Guys, this is about a small point about a disk management. How to do disk management? No, I don't know what is it. Okay, so is a disk part like just before I showed the disk part. You can go to disk part and you can do all the command wise. You can do disk management. Another one is go to diskmgmt.msc, diskmgmt.msc. So GPT and MBR size is same. We can we replace to each other like MBR to GPT? Yes, good question actually. You want to convert MBR to GPT or GPT to MBR. So it is a main partition style, right? So it is already MBR. For example, I want to convert into GPT. So what I have to do it, already partitions are there and the partitions contains the data. First of all, I have to remove all the partitions. How to remove all these partitions. If remove the partition means data also lost. Now the disk is not under any partition, okay, but it is only MBR type. So right click and we can convert into GPT. Okay, and actually it is not required. If it is MBR, keep it MBR. If it is GPT, keep it as a GPT. That's enough. Okay, data loss is there, guys. You will lose the data. And partitions. Partition means, of course, complete. Okay. So what is the use of this disk management? We can initialize the disk as a MBR to GPT. We can keep the disk as offline, online. We can convert the disk to MBR, basic to dynamic. We can convert MBR to GPT. We can do it. And also we can do partitioning thing. Mainly in disk management, we do partitions. Like we create a new partition, we shrink the partitions, we can extend the partition, we can delete the partitions. Okay. Volumes you can manage like a simple volume, spanned volume, stripped volume, mirror volume, write 5 volumes also we can able to create it. Okay. So this is a disk management window. How I open, you can go to run or go to search, type Diskmgmt.msc. What is MSc? Microsoft Console. MGMT, not MGR. Okay. Disk management. It is a Microsoft console to manage disk. Okay, I open that one. So see, this is a disk 0, disk 1. Guys, this is my disk 1. It's a MBR type of disk. See, it is showing convert into GPT, but it is gray color. How can I convert into GPT? How to delete all these volumes? Sorry, all these partitions I have to delete. Then I can convert into MBR. Okay, so I don't want to do it. If I do it, it won't work. And I have very important data in these two drives and this one also. Just for one example, guys, I want to show a sample practical. So at least we'll feel bad. So this is the H drive. H drive is there. See, it is 531 GB size. If you see user space 442, free space 88.7 GB. Okay. So here is a diagram. I have a drive. Hard disk is there. And I have a H drive. 531 GB space is there. Sorry, total size is 531 GB. Okay, so better remove this part. We need a bigger size like this. Other two partitions are there. This is 200. This is 200. This is like this. It's a 1 terabyte. Okay. Okay. If you see, this is a 531 GB H drive. And how much free space is there? 88 GB free space. 88.4 GB free space is there. From this free space, I will cut something like a 20 GB. I can do 40 GB. I can do 40 GB. Better. Okay. I will cut a 40 GB away. Means you cut a 40 GB from your H drive. You're cutting 40 GB from your H drive means your H drive size will be reduced. 531 minus 40. Minus 40 means how much it is become? 491. 491 GB drive. Now your H drive become 491 GB. Your free space become 48 GB. Your unallocated become 40 GB. This is what I am trying to do it, guys. I have a 88 GB free space. Out of 88 GB free space, I am going to shrink the volume to get a 40 GB out of it. If I take it, so remaining things will be reduced. This is my H drive. To do that one, we have to choose shrink volume. Shrink volume. What is shrink volume? Shrink volume is used to get some space, like a cutting your existing drive based on the free space availability. Okay. So I'm shrinking. How much free space is available? 88 GB. Okay. This is the shrinkable space. Shrinkable space. I need a 40 GB out of it. 40960. 40 GB means 40960. Because MB to GB, you have to tell in MBs, right? So 1024 MB is 1 GB. I need a 4 GB means into 4. That is 4096 MB means 4 GB. Now I need a 40 GB, then I have to put a 0 here. Okay. So shrink. So it is 40 GB unallocated is created. My H drive size is reduced 91.5 GB and 40 GB unallocated and free space. Refresh. See 48 GB free space, 491 GB total H drive, 40 GB unallocated. Guys, this is the primary, and this is unallocated. I'm going to create this 40 GB unallocated. This is my 40 GB unallocated. I'm going to create a 10 GB drive. 10 GB drive I'm creating. See how it is I'm creating. Right click, new simple volume. Okay. Right click, new simple volume. Next, 10 GB. 10024 is a 1 GB and 0 means 10 GB. I'm creating a 10 GB volume. I'm not telling extended, primary or logical drive. Simply I'm creating. This is a file system NTFS. Next, finish. See automatically what happened because it's a Windows 10, right? 3 primaries are completed. Then what is the 4th one? This green color will tell you extended partition. It is a extended partition. In the extended, this is the logical drive. Logical drive. 10 GB logical drive is created. Okay, see, 10 GB logical drive is created. remaining 30 GB free space in the extended partition. Remaining 30 GB is become free space in the extended partition. Out of 30 GB, I am going to create something 4 GB, 4096 means 4 GB only. Okay, see, I created another volume. See, this is 10 GB, this is 4 GB. Like this, number of partitions you can create it. Guys, remember, you want to access the volume. If you want to access the volume, you need a drive letter. Without a drive letter also, you can create a partition. For example, I'm going to create a volume. So for example, 2048. It is a 2 GB volume I'm creating. Do not assign drive letter. So I created a 2 GB volume, but no drive letter. Look at here. So only IJ is there. Where is the 2 GB volume? Not there because no drive letter. If I assign a drive letter, add. So then it is drive letter is added. So you can see there is a 2 GB volume. Data will be remains in the volume. Okay, so that's the point. Now I don't want these volumes, then I can delete it. So right click, delete. Guys, when you create a volume, it can be NTFS or a FAT. So you can see when you create a simple volume, you can choose FAT or NTFS. Okay, if you choose FAT, then the drive will get certain properties. For example, if you see when I select FAT, enable file and folder compression become disabled. If I choose NTFS, this is enabled, means option is enabled. Whether you check or not, no problem, but it is option is enabled. But FAT32 option is not enabled. Like a FAT and NTFS, feature wise, support wise difference is also there. Also, I'm deleting this volume. Sir, which drive these data are going to save? Which drive? Drive, if I save data in the I drive, now it is not there. Of course, I removed it. Okay. If I save data in the I drive, okay, data stores in the disk one only. In this disk only, it is stored like how H drive data, E drive data, G drive data stores. Same way, I drive data also stored in disk one only, not separately. Okay. But the partition information stores. What is this MBR and GPT partition styles? Okay. But what is the use? Those are records in your hard disk telling about your partitions. The partition information stores in this MBR and GPT record. And also about your bootloader record, about your operating system location record. Everything stores size of the partitions, okay, cluster size of partitions and sector range. Okay, so I'm deleting this free space also. We got a 40 GB unallocated. Okay, so this is how to create a partition, how to shrink the volume from the drive based on its free space. I have taken 40 GB out of 88 GB. I shrink the volume, and in the unallocated volume, I created a partition, but already I have 3 primaries. This remaining that new partition is become a logical drive in the extended partition. And in extended, we can create a number of logical drives. Okay, guys, now this is I deleted that whatever I created, but I have this 40 GB unallocated. Now my H drive having a 48.7 GB free space and the drive size is 491 GB. I want to add this 40 GB to H drive. We can add this unallocated space to the existing drive. We can add unallocated space to existing drive directly based on the adjacency. See, these both are side by side, and H drive is here, unallocated is here. Must be side by side. See, it is unallocated. This is drive. This is unallocated. This is drive. You cannot add this to this, but you can add this to this. Okay, that is the point. So H drive can be added to this one. So go to H drive, extended, and I have 40 GB. You want to add entire 40 GB or some part? Also you can do it. Like you want to add only 20 GB. You want to add only 10 GB. Or you want to add entire unallocated part. I want to add everything. So finish. Okay, now it is H drive become full-fledged of my old H drive. So I choose extended to shrink volume, extending, extend volume. Okay, so we'll go to the drive. See, it is refresh once. See, 88.7 GB free space means 40 GB added now, and it is showing 531 GB total drive. Okay, these are the some points in the disk management. This part I am trying to explain, guys. That's it. Not more than it. Everybody okay with hard disk, SSDs, GPT, MBR?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. This is really not required, but what is this partition but I'm giving direct this file system information. So next part is what is file system. I'm not going more data in this file system, simple file. What is the file system? File system will tell how to store data in your drive. Maybe it is can be your hard disk or SSD or maybe a pen drive, or it is a memory card, or it is a CD, DVD, whatsoever it is, guys. If you define a file system, as per the file system, data stores. We use a word called a format. What is format? What is format? Okay, normally we think format means we removing data. That's why we are doing format. You can delete the data also. Why you are using a format option to remove the data? You can delete the data. Then why you are using format? Format means we define file system. We define file system. This format define file system. File system can be NTFS, FAT, or a different file system. In Windows, we use a file system is FAT file system, NTFS file system. Currently, we are using from almost Windows Vista onwards, we are using all machines are NTFS type file systems only. FAT very rarely we are using, very rarely. And why? Because a FAT file system does not support more than 32 GB. In FAT also there is a different FAT file systems are there. For example, if you see here, FAT16, FAT32. FAT16 support up to 4 GB volume size, and FAT32 support up to 32 GB volume size. And big files you cannot able to store it. We cannot store big files and operating systems. Now, current operating systems you can't store in the FAT file system. Okay, FAT32 support 32 GB, but the table is not given correctly, but you can see it is FAT32 can support up to 32 GB partition, whereas the NTFS support more than 2 terabytes of partition size up to 18 GB partition size it support, and in NTFS it can store big files. Okay, also we can store big files. Guys, again, what is an NTFS compared to FAT? There is a certain features like a security, encryption, compression, quota, and indexing. These features are available in the NTFS file system. NTFS, new technology file system, FAT file allocation table. NTFS, new technology file system, up to 2 terabytes and more than 2 terabytes means up to 18 EB. So I will change a little bit, more than 2 terabyte support and up to 18 EB. Okay. And NTFS having a certain features, like a security feature is there, encryption, compression, quota, and indexing. FAT does not store big files and does not support more than 32 GB of partition size. Guys, you know, in olden days, means not very olden days, few years back, up to few years back. So we have a mobile phones, then memory cards are small size memory cards, right? 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB memory cards. The file system of that memory card is FAT, because FAT is a kind of universal format, not NTFS. Actually, FAT is a universal format type. It means lot of devices are compatible with the FAT, like a pen drives, memory cards, mobile phones. Okay, these are compatible with the FAT file system. Problem is, from recent years, the memory cards, pen drives are coming with a more than 32 GB size, right? So like 64 GB memory cards are there, 128 GB memory cards are there, higher memory cards we are getting. Okay, right, up to 2 terabytes of memory cards also available. Then what to do, right? The pen drives and memory cards does not supporting. Okay, it is coming with a bigger size, and file sizes also become bigger now. So we want to store big files like a music or a video files are bigger. We can't store in the old style FAT. So then new file system is came that is called exFAT. So mainly for this SD cards and all. So whenever you insert more than 32 GB of memory card in your mobile, immediately transfer the format in the exFAT. If it is both are supporting exFAT, then only we can store the data. Another file system is there that is called resilient file system, REFS. Resilient file system use CRC, cyclic redundancy check algorithm, to prevent data from corruptions. Okay. Of course, operating systems like Unix and Linux operating systems, we use ext type of file system, ext, ext2, ext3, ext4, exfs type of file systems. Okay, different operating system, different devices use different type of file system, guys. Each file system having their own advantages and disadvantages or features are there. Exactly say features. Okay. Network file system is there. So network file system and CIFS, NFS is a network file system. CIFS, common internet file system, like a Samba file system. It is used in a network sharing. DVD, also using a universal disk format. Okay. So guys, what is the file system or what is the format? Format means it is defining a file system. To store data in the drives, we need a file system. File system will store data in your drive in a certain pattern. Okay. So depends upon that. So we are getting different type of features. Okay. So in Windows, we are using FAT and NTFS, and exFAT is for mainly SD cards and pen drives, which is more than 32 GB. REFS, resilient file system. Okay, that is also using where we need to store very sensitive data, like we should not want to corrupt the data. Linux also using a different file system like a exFAT and ext3 and ext4, ext2 kind of file system, XFS file system. Okay, this is about your file system. Here I make one picture to show what is the difference between FAT and NTFS. It is NTFS, it is FAT. Okay. So we have to write or something. Full property is not dead. See, it is NTFS FAT. This is edit option is not came. Crop option is there. Okay. You can see security, quota, compression, and indexing. Here those things won't be there. Okay, that is the differences. Yeah, that just understand what is file system, and we are using FAT and NTFS file system. Okay, that's it about this particular topic, guys. Of course, we don't have a time, otherwise I will tell about a boot processing. Okay, so about tomorrow class is there or not, I will inform. Otherwise, it is a Monday class only. Monday I will start the new topic, servers and services. Okay, servers and